It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Make a hot cuppa and relax. It's AfternoonKarak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah
on Pulse 95.
Yesterday was Gratitude Day, and even though we do have a new celebration today, we're gonna get to it in a little bit, but I have to talk about the things that I'm grateful for, and one of the things obviously is the fact that I managed to somehow get a Choco Frosted donut, so shout out to me, very happy for myself. Finally got it. To the people who are very confused about that, I kind of had like this saga of me trying to get some Choco Frosted donut for a while, but then every single time I go there, because I go a little bit late, most of the people have already bought it out, and it is a very popular flavor, so this kind of thing happens. But plenty of things to be grateful for, and one of the things that I'm very grateful for here in Sharjah is the fact that we have our event back on the roll starting from last year, one of the biggest events in the entire UAE and perhaps the Middle East. The Sharjah International Book Fair was one of the first events to kick off the event right here in Sharjah, basically their big comeback. And of course, we missed out on the International Government Communication Forum due to the pandemic. Actually, we did have it last year, but then we had to push it back, and alhamdulillah, it's finally going to be happening on the 26th and 27th of September, which means it's going to be happening next week. This year's event will tackle government communication in times of crises, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, and that is a very important and vital topic to be talking about, especially as many economies are slowly trying to recover from the pandemic. And if anything, government communication is one of the pillars of what keeps the economy going during these difficult and hard times. There are going to be so many interesting and big names, such as the former British PM Tony Blair's press secretary Alistair Campbell, who will headline a workshop on crisis management strategies, where he will share his personal experiences and his personal advice and whatnot. So it's going to be sharing a lot of important things and whatnot. So it's very important for people who are interested in technology, politics, government communication, mass media, all kinds of things, and the gray areas where all those things converge. Everybody should be heading down to the International Government Communication Forum in Sharjah Expo Center on the 26th and 27th of September, also next week. As for today, like I said, big celebration and a fun celebration. I'm going to be talking about a certain food item that some people might have disliked at some point, myself included, but now is one of my favorite things ever. Also going to be having a discussion about Daniel Craig basically making a very interesting revelation. He says that the new James Bond should not be a female, simply because there should be more roles simply for females. And that is a very interesting topic. It goes into the whole diversification topic and discussion that we've been having for years and years. It's all about, should we put women in roles as in that already exist? Or should we basically make new roles for women? So there are so many things to talk about within that discussion. I'm also going to be talking about Pitch Perfect. Apparently there's going to be a series coming to Peacock, and it's going to be starring Adam Devine, starring alongside Elizabeth Banks, who will be producing. Also, Disney Plus teases some Marvel and Star Wars specials coming on November 12th, also known as Disney Plus Day. Those are some of the things we're going to be talking about, so make sure you're staying tuned and staying locked to Pulse 95. Keep me company as I keep you guys company for 215. Itisalat or do. Would love to hear from you. Let's have a little bit of a throwback with Avril Lavigne before we kick it off with our celebration.
What's the date?
What's the date?
What's the date?
What are we celebrating today?
Today we are celebrating a food item that I believe that a lot of people do not like, and then slowly started liking, myself included. And I feel like there are still a lot of people who are adamant that this is not a good thing to eat, or at least it is just a waste of time to eat. But I disagree with that strongly, especially as a recent, I'd say, convert for this food item. And what am I talking about, you might wonder? I am talking about white chocolate, because today just happens to be white chocolate day, and I feel like we might have spoken about this day maybe last year, but honestly, it is hard to miss. I need to talk about white chocolate because, as I just mentioned, I did not like white chocolate at some point. It was not something I was fond of. I used to be very adamant that it was not real chocolate. I'd like to apologize to white chocolate itself, because that is not fair to say to them. Because if it feels like it is chocolate, is it not? So there are several types of chocolate. Obviously, there's dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, and there's ruby chocolate, which is the newest type of chocolate, and it's very pretty. I think it's pinkish reddish color, and it's very rare, and not many places actually have it, and it's very hard to find and create, and it's literally a new type of chocolate that was recently created. So chocolate is very, very, versatile in its purest form, and the reason why a lot of people think that white chocolate is not real is because it only has cocoa butter. But cocoa butter comes from chocolate, from cocoa beans, so it's still kind of chocolate. It doesn't mean that it's any less chocolate than dark chocolate or milk chocolate. Now, the reason also that people might not like white chocolate is because it is a little bit too sweet. And I agree with you guys. White chocolate can be a little bit too sweet. It can be too much, but I come bearing some great news, some great ideas for people who want to try out white chocolate and maybe want to tone it down. One of the best ways to have white chocolate, in my opinion, and I know that might not even be a good idea for a lot of people, because the thing I am suggesting is already an acquired taste for a lot of people, and that is matcha. Now listen to me. Just trust me on this one. Matcha and white chocolate are a combination made in heaven. Although I feel like you can easily mix up some fruits as well, some fruity flavors with the white chocolate. I've seen a strawberry and white chocolate and whatnot. That could work out if you're into those flavors, but then it's already hard enough trying to convince people to have milk chocolate and dark chocolate with fruit. So if you're not into that, maybe not. But I feel like maybe some strawberry or raspberry works great with white chocolate. Maybe some passion fruit as well works wonders. Very beautiful. If you add it to, I don't know, maybe your cakes, as a sauce together, they just work out together. But matcha and white chocolate are literally a match made in heaven. I had it for the first time, I believe, in a cookie. Just tried to try it out, and goodness, it was just perfect. Just the earthiness of the matcha just offsets the sweetness and the heaviness of white chocolate. Because of how sweet it is, sometimes white chocolate might feel a little bit too much, because it is very indulging. I mean, chocolate in general is very indulgent. That is the case with chocolate in general. But again, the earthiness and the bitterness of the matcha, which, by the way, if you think that the matcha you're having is way too bitter, then I'm here to tell you that you're having matcha wrong, because there's a good chance that you burnt your matcha, or somebody, or the person that's given it to you has burnt the matcha or put too much matcha in your drink or whatever you're having. That's why you feel that it might be a little bit too much. So again, give matcha a second chance. Have it together with white chocolate. One of my favorite things that I've ever made in my life. It was just a random epiphany once. I just had one after having that cookie. I mean, that cookie I've had it several times. It's been my favorite. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a white chocolate matcha. And it was amazing, guys. It took some trial and error. The first time I did it did not work out because I was trying to figure out the ratios. And then the moment I did that, the moment I managed to figure out exactly what I'm supposed to do here and there, everything was perfect. It was just unimaginable. Just trust me, I've been hyping it up to everybody, basically anybody who passes by. I tell them, try out a combination of matcha and white chocolate. Matcha and white chocolate, again, a match made in heaven. I cannot stress this enough. I cannot repeat this enough. Just try it out. You are definitely going to enjoy it. Text me 4215 Viti Salat, or do tell me how you feel about white chocolate. That's one thing. And also tell me about your favorite combinations when it comes to white chocolate, if you are a fan of this type of chocolate. Like I said, do you like a little bit fruity? Do you like putting some nuts with it? Even though I feel like nuts work better perhaps with dark chocolate, and maybe they might look chocolate as well. But when it comes to white chocolate, it's all about that beautiful sweetness that can be, very versatile and can be added to many things. And it's just another way to celebrate and love chocolate. Once again, 4215 Etisalat or do we move on to something a little bit too serious in comparison to the White Chocolate Day, and that is Daniel Craig addressing whether the new James Bond should be a woman. And that is an ongoing discussion that has been basically sweeping the internet and all kinds of social media circles and just social circles in general, because we've always had this issue of where do we put women when we're trying to be diverse in movies, TV shows, video games, etc. And it might be easy, but it also can be a controversial topic. Let's talk about that. 4215 Etisalat Urdu coming up next right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Make a hot cuppa and relax. It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah
On Pulse 95.
Okay, so this one might be a big discussion, might be a little bit problematic, but let's jump right into it. Of course, we all know that the upcoming James Bond movie, No Time to Die, is going to be the last James Bond movie starring Daniel Craig, and he's been carrying this title for quite a while, so it is massive, and it is a big thing for a lot of fans out there, especially since he is considered to be one of the best portrayals of James Bond ever in the entire series. So obviously there was a lot of talk over the past couple of years about possibly a female James Bond, or perhaps a black James Bond, or basically a James Bond from a different ethnicity, as a way of just, shaking up the character and giving way for more diversification. And of course, there was a lot of backlash. There was also some rumors that perhaps Idris Elba is going to be the next James Bond. But obviously, that was all shot down, despite the fact that Idris did say that he is quite interested in the role and he would be happy to take it if he was given the opportunity. And then that there was rumors that Lashana Lynch is going to be the next James Bond, as in she's going to be the next 007, not 007, the next 007, as in he's going to be given the mantle to her officially, and she's going to be taking over in the upcoming movies. And then we found out that no, that she's actually playing another character within the universe that's going to be part of, I'd say, like a love-hate relationship with her and James Bond. I mean, that is kind of what was showing in the trailer. And then that is when people were kind of like, yeah, that's a missed opportunity, but also at the same time, some people were saying, no, that makes sense. So then, obviously, Daniel Craig was asked, what do you think about this? Can you weigh in on this topic? And he does not think that this particular role should be given to women. He thinks that James Bond should remain James Bond. However, he says there should simply be better parts for women and actors of color. Why should a woman play James Bond when there should be a part just as good as James Bond, but for a woman? And his stance is not something new. This is something that has been basically repeated by many people who you might say that they might have some problematic reasonings, or some people might say, no, that is actually a good way of thinking about it. And me personally, I'm in the middle, because I do agree that there should be roles created for women and perhaps even by women, so they can be inserted into those universes. But at the same time, I do not mind the shake-up every once in a while. I mean, Ocean's 8, the latest one, was quite interesting. I enjoyed it, even though a lot of people didn't. But I feel that it has its place within the world of film. Meanwhile, the newest, or the latest, not the latest one, but the previous Ghostbusters with the entire female cast, that one, I feel like it was not successful simply because of the way it was written, rather than the fact that it was all female. So maybe if it was written differently, it would have been a little bit more successful, even though it garnered a lot of backlash. Same goes for the Ocean's 8 that was starring Sandra Bullock and Anne Hathaway. That movie was a lot of fun to watch. I enjoyed every bit of it. But then again, it goes back to the whole idea, once again, should we make roles for women, or should we put women in those roles that already exist and just have a shake-up? Same goes for people of color. And again, it is a very difficult thing to navigate between. And to me, I say, why not both? I feel like it just depends on the series. It depends on the role that you're inserting those women into. Will it work out better if those women were this whole new characters rather than, putting in, creating new characters? Who knows, really? It just depends on the vision of the director, the vision of the series, the vision of the video game, etc. But then, at the end of the day, I know that no matter what happens and what is being picked, there's going to be an angry group here or there. There's going to be somebody who's not going to be happy about it. So I'm pretty sure that Daniel Craig will probably get an equal amount of supporters and people bashing him as well. Text me 4215 Salat or do. I'd love to hear from you guys and know more about what you think about this. Which team are you on? Are you just like me where you're like, it all is very subjective and depends on the series itself and depends on the writing and the vision of the creators? I'm going to be taking a short break, and coming up next, going to be talking about a Pitch Perfect series ordered at Peacock and also Disney Plus, teasing some Marvel and Star Wars specials coming up right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Make a hot cuppa and relax. It's Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah
On Pulse 95.
As usual, Disney Plus, or Disney in general, is kind of hyping everybody up with their upcoming new releases, and it's going to be doing that on November 12th, basically teasing Disney Plus subscribers that they're going to be getting a whole wide array of movies and TV shows that have been long awaited, but also they're kind of teasing something interesting. They just said that they're going to be celebrating the origins and legacy of Star Wars and also celebrating the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Disney Plus, with an exciting look towards the future. So basically what I feel that they're going to be doing is, besides the movies that they spoke about and the long-awaited TV shows that are basically going to be coming up on Disney Plus, they're also hyping up a lot of the upcoming kind of TV shows that were kind of rumored. Well, not rumored. They are already obviously have been okayed and they're going to be coming up on Disney Plus, but perhaps they're going to be giving us all kinds of, the dates and maybe some set pictures. Maybe we're going to be talking or listening to the actors and actresses involved in those TV shows from Marvel. And we're going to be getting a glimpse into that world very, very soon. So I'm guessing we might be getting a look into She-Hulk and possibly Miss Marvel, because I feel like those are the ones that are be coming up very soon. They're not gonna think they're gonna be giving us too many details, or they're not gonna be delving too deep into it, because perhaps there's a good chance that it's gonna be connecting along with the upcoming 2 movies or 3 movies that are gonna be coming out through the MCU, and those are the Eternals. You've got Spider-Man and eventually Doctor Strange, and obviously there's a lot of secrets and perhaps surprises surrounding those movies, especially the latter 2, because it's very important to keep as many things under wraps as possible, especially with the way that trailer leaked. And then there are the rumors that perhaps we're going to be getting different types and versions of Spider-Man appearing in that movie, even though we kind of know what's going to happen, but we don't know. Maybe that's might not happen. Maybe it's just a big, massive rumor from Marvel, from Disney, and this from a lot of people who were just passing around a lot of, stories, and they might not be from proper sources. So we know that they're going to be keeping everything under wraps. Maybe, fingers crossed, I think we might be getting something from Moon Knight, and I hope that we do, because again, the hype is real. Oscar Isaac, the entire cast of Moon Knight, or at least what we know of it, is super cool and super important into the MCU. It's going to be a very interesting new take, and I cannot wait to hear more about it, especially since they are actually filming right now in Europe, so we might get some things here and there. And even the cast themselves have been very, very active on social media, and they've been posting and making jokes and whatnot, and just showing that cute sense of camaraderie that they have with each other. And now this is Marvel. Let's go over to Star Wars. They did tell us straight up that they're going to be talking about Boba Fett and his story, but also, if you remember, we're also going to be getting several projects. We're going to be getting 10 projects within the Star Wars universe, so it only makes sense that we might be also getting maybe another thing or two in sense that we're going to be getting more information about them, because in the previous Investors Day campaign, we just got the names and maybe the directors or producers just giving us an idea of the entire show and the entire premise of the show and what's going to be happening. But maybe we're going to be getting a first look into it, especially since Obi-Wan Kenobi's TV show has been hyped up for such a while, including by Ewan McGregor himself lately. So I think that it coincides with that. Him hyping it up means that we're going to be getting some news very soon. And this is happening on the 12th of November, so we're around a month and a half away from it. So stay tuned for that as we talk about it when the date comes. And you know what time it is right now? It's nearly 5 p.m. So we need to wrap up and leave the desk for the dynamic duo that is Big House and Anna Schofield from Yalla Home. But if you missed out on any of my conversations with you guys, then you guys know where to head on to, and that is to our podcast. Search up AfternoonKarak wherever you listen to podcasts, and that could be on Anghami, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. Just search up on Google AfternoonKarak and you will find us there. Don't forget to subscribe to get the episodes one after the other as soon as we update them. We also do have our YouTube channel. Just search up Pulse 95 Radio. Our episodes are also uploaded up there across all the shows. Again, Pulse 95 Radio. Like, comment, and subscribe. I wish you guys a lovely day, and don't forget, tomorrow I'm going to be back with another review of Marvel's What If, another episode, an interesting one. We're going to be talking about Thor. Cannot wait to talk about the show. And the question is this time, what if Thor Odinson was an only child, as in Loki was never introduced into his life? Cannot wait to talk about this tomorrow. Again, same time, same vibes from 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Afternoon Karak, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.